3 iterations of 2v8 have now concluded, and while there are several important or obvious flaws that need to be addressed, there is one thing specifically about the Coldwind maps that's perplexed me, and I need to rant about it. And it's this pallet spawn. This type of pallet has been present on every version of 2v8 thus far. Here's a quick montage showing this pallet existing in the first version. On a first glance, the problem with this pallet seems obvious. It's a really short loop, which is already weak for survivors in a chase against just one killer. But this is 2v8, and 2v8 is meant to have some stronger pallets to help survivors counter 2 killers. However, the larger underlying problem with this type of pallet spawn is where it spawns, which is on the very edge of the map, sometimes even in the corner. This is not a very useful place for this pallet to spawn, as most survivors do not run to the edge of the map unless they are zoned into it and choose to comp corner. Additionally, this pallet is also a trap depending on how it spawns, because if you happen to make it to the pallet with 2 killers chasing you, they can just corner you on both sides and then there's nothing you can do. Also, a bonus reason for why this pallet is a problem is because the other maps thus far in 2v8 do not have this type of pallet spawn. So it just ultimately makes Coldwind a weaker map because these weaker pallets go towards the overall pallet count for the map. Comparable maps like Macmillan or Autohaven have pallets centered in the core areas or loops of the map. Autohaven does have one somewhat strange pallet loop that can spawn on the edge of the map, but this usually spawns in specific areas that connect to other tiles, making it more useful. I believe this Coldwind pallet spawn in 2v8 represents a larger problem with the Coldwind maps in regular DBD as well, though, as some major tile changes were made to the realm a while back, ultimately nerfing the strength of the tiles. Understandable nerfs for the most part, of course, but there were some nerfs that were probably overdone. And essentially, these nerfs kind of resulted in Coldwind becoming one of the weaker maps in the game for survivors. Assuming for a moment that I'm overestimating how weak the pallet spawn is, I still would be curious to know how often survivors are using that pallet. And also, while we're at it, might as well just get some data on kill rates for the maps. My suspicion is Coldwind could be near the top of the kill rates, but that's just based on this strange pallet spawn annoyance that I have. I do recognize there's bigger fish to fry with problems to solve in 2v8, but this pallet spawn is just something I think is going to stick around for at least the foreseeable future. It's probably going to take some other adjustments to Coldwind and regular DBD to get something like this fixed, but oh well. I wish we could just take the pallet and push it somewhere else perhaps, but that's just an idea. Thanks for watching.